Hey, I'm Mike, and today I'm showcasing Magda, Brazen Outlaw. She's a 2-1 legendary creature for 1 and a red.
Other dwarves get a +1/+0, but that's not what we are here for. She generates a treasure whenever a dwarf we control becomes tapped. Most importantly, we can sacrifice 5 treasures at instant speed to fight any artifact or dragon in our deck and put it directly onto the battlefield. Our goal is to get to 5 treasures as quickly as we can. For that, we can leverage Magda's passive ability, deploy dwarves, and tap them with vehicles or combat. Or we can cast cards that are either treasures themselves or produce treasures. Once we get to 5 treasures, we can activate Magda to fetch any artifact from our deck, and 9 out of 10 times we will get Portal to Phyrexia. But sometimes getting a sneaky Juggernaut mid-combat is just as devastating, or even game-winning right on the spot. Let's look at the deck list. We are playing a few important 1-drops. Of course, we are playing Ragavan, which produces a treasure, but what we really want to be playing on turn 1 is either Universal Automaton, which is the cheapest dwarf there is, or even better, Springleaf Drum. If we play Drum on turn 1, we can then cast Magda on turn 2, tap it to Springleaf Drum to produce a red mana and a treasure, and then cast a different dwarf, still in turn 2. Our 2-drops are mostly dwarves or creatures that produce treasures, such as the Charming Scoundrel or the Generous Plunderer. Of course, we have the new include, Magda the Hoardmaster. Whenever we commit a crime, we create a treasure token, and we are of course playing all the good dwarves. Exiled Cavalry is an especially good one. If it comes down on turn 2, it can then tap Magda on turn 3, Magda can attack and we yield 2 treasures. And because we want to be tapping our dwarves down, we are also playing quite a few vehicles. We are playing the Flywheel Racer, Longboat, Hoverbike, Sky Skiff, all very cheap crew costs. Careening Minecart costs 3 mana, but also has crew 1, and it produces a treasure when it attacks, so fairly important. Relic of Legends can tap Magda, doesn't tap. And as we are focused on producing treasures, Exorn is a great include, creates an extra treasure whenever we create one. We are also playing Blood Moon. It doesn't help our strategy whatsoever, but it hinders our opponents quite a bit, so it's a good include. Our top end is of course Portal to Phyrexia, which is the main thing we want to be getting through Magda's ability. If we are in combat and need to overpower our opponent right on the spot, Grass Unstoppable Juggernaut is also great as it turns all our creatures into 5/3s. If we are facing Planeswalkers, the Immortal Sun prevents opponents from activating them, that can be clutch. Or if we are far ahead already, we can get Godfarer's Statue, as it makes our opponent's spell cost 2 more to cast. Our mana base is fairly interesting as well. We are playing 39 lands, and we can afford to include fetches, so that we can get the Dwarven Mine from time to time. It enters the battlefield tap unless we control 3 or other mountains, but if it enters untapped, it creates a dwarf, so that is very much what we want to be doing. And otherwise we can at least thin the deck of lands with the fetches. Rest of these, mostly utility lands, but we also have a few lands that allow us to tap our creatures. Anvir Battlements give, for red and tapping it, haste to target creature, which allows us to move to combat and attack and tap the creature. With Dungeon Descent, we can tap a legendary creature we control to venture into a dungeon, so it itself taps usually Magda immediately, and if we get to do this twice, in the Mine Tunnels we create a treasure token in the dungeon as well, so that can be great value. We have a hidden dwarf in our mana base in Mutavault, and because we are producing so many treasures, we also include Inventor's Fair, just for the extra life gain. You can check out the deck list on Moxfield, link in description. Thanks for sticking around, now let's get to the gameplay.
We are dueling Jacob Hawken. Sticky fingers, but we have Statue and Juggernaut in our hand, so it's effectively a 5-card hand. We definitely have to mulligan. The cave was nice, but also we need to do better than that. Goldhound as a 1-drop, Barbarian to create a treasure, Sushi won't do great against mono blue decks. Mites and Weakstone also don't do much. It's a keepable hand, but since it's effectively a 6, let's go to 6 and see if we can get a better hand still. This is playable. We have a vehicle, we have Fable. We are probably going to pitch the Relic because we do not have enough dwarves. And we already have the Flywheel Racer, which is a cheaper option. So let's keep here, pitch the Relic, get a land out and pass. Our next turn, depending on open mana, let's get the Flywheel Racer out. It could have been a wash away. If it was not a wash away, opponent is unlikely to counter our Flywheel Racer with just 1 mana. Magda would tap for 1 treasure. We can get Fable in. If we get it countered, that's fine. The Fable is good, but also it can be a little slow. And we would rather keep Professional Facebreaker than the Fable. Right, opponent has 6 mana available to them. Let's see what they cook up. Feels like they don't quite have a use for the extra mana they produced. Yep, and they let it go. That's fine. We are enjoying that quite a bit. Let's get the Facebreaker out. Opponent has no stick, so that makes me feel like we are supposed to play Magda instead, but let's attack them with the Flywheel Racer. Produce a treasure, and tap the Racer for another dwarf. Or rather, a dwarf. Professional Facebreaker, notably a human warrior. Alright, opponent gets mana drain back onto top of their library. If we can get Magda out, we are in a good spot, but I would fully expect opponent to be able to draw the mana drain at instant speed. Do we use the Frostbite here?
Nah.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't care about the professional Facebreaker that much. Also makes me think that opponent has something better for Magda. Let's cast her. Let's see what happens. We still have enough mana to replay her. Of course. Opponent will attempt to mana drain Magda. They did not. Okay, that's fine. We will take the action to put Magda back into our hand. Then we will crew with the legitimate business person. And then we will use mana from the Flywheel Racer to get Magda out and attack with Vault Robber. Produce a treasure. And pass. Next turn we are capable of producing 2 extra treasures. Just from the Vault Robber, because we can exile a card, create a treasure, tapping it will produce another treasure, and then attacking with Magda will produce, or tapping into Flywheel Racer will produce the 5th one. So we are in a good spot. We just need to time everything correctly. So we can do everything at instant speed. We definitely cannot be attacking with the Vault Robber. We could attack with the legitimate business person's Flywheel Racer. We move to combat. We attack with the Racer. Opponent will very likely take 3 damage. We have an active Frostbite, because we have enough snow mountains. Alright, let's see, how many mana does our opponent have? Not enough to transform, do they? Alright. Blast Zone would be unfortunate if it started at 0, but it starts at 1, so we don't care that much. It currently only blows up the witness protection. Alright. Opponent's not doing anything yet. So we attempt to frostbite the inspector. Let's see how they react. They will attempt to draw an exile. That's great. They could transform it right here. Right. And they do. And they are fully tapped out. I believe that means we are very close to lethal damage. We draw the Juggernaut. That is exactly what we are hoping to get from the treasures. But now we don't need it anymore. We can cast the Juggernaut from our hand, crew the Racer with the Juggernaut because it has Summoning Sickness, and hit our opponent for 21 damage. Ta-da! Alright, we have 3 lands, Box Emperor, Unexpected Windfall on turn 3. Alright, let's try this. We are only playing the Prismatic Vista to be able to shuffle our deck if we need to, and to thin it. Not terribly useful, but we don't really care about the 1 life. Alright, nothing to strangle, so we pass. We will be playing the mountain on our turn 3, just so that we... Ooh, another mountain, just so that we can have 3 mountains for Dwarven Mine, if we ever draw it. Well, let's attack. Lotus Cobra is great. We don't really have much else going on. If we have to replay Magda next turn, we are feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, opponent reasonably ignores that. We could have strangled the Lotus Cobra. It doesn't help with Kiora. Kiora untapping Lotus Cobra does nothing, so we would rather kill a Manador. Let's see what our opponent does here. We are of course going to Unexpected Windfall on the end step. They explore, that's fine. Excellent. They play Nissa, we are hoping to strangle Nissa on our turn. Here they will get 2 extra mana, and untapped mana, presumably playing their commander. Alright. Mana into mana, must be nice. We will be getting 2 treasures right here, so all we need is 1 extra treasure on our next turn. Oh, opponent ramped yet again. Cool. Oh, nice. Well, they are still at 3 mana available to them. Yep, Kiora, there she is.
Don't mind if I take my octopus for a walk?
Opponent is not going to attack. We Windfall. We pitch the Vista. Doesn't do anything in this situation. And we got there. We have exactly what we wanted. So we could strangle, play with fire, kill both of their creatures, and then still have the treasures open. We have a decision between a Mimic or the stockpile. We are going to be sacrificing it, so let's play the Mimic. Then we strangle the Nissa. And because we cannot react to land drops, let's play with fire the Lotus Cobra. It would be able to block the Magda, so we don't want to be having any of that. Attacking Kiora doesn't really do anything, so we attack the opponent and we pass. We have 5 treasures. Sneaky, because the Mimic is a treasure as well, so we have 4+1. We can activate Magda at any time now. If our opponent goes white, we will portal to Phyrexia.
Nature flows with vigor.
And they do go white. Alright, let's get them the token. They will draw twice. Good for them. Alright. Yeah, here we just sack the 5 treasures, get portal to Phyrexia. They got 2 creatures. We got their 2 creatures back into the graveyard. And yeah, we are feeling pretty good about getting the Bonepal for ourselves. We drop a land, we play the Inferno of the Star Mounts, and we hit our opponent for everything we have. Yeah, get the Stein there. And let's see how our opponent reacts. Huge turn for our opponent. They ramp yet again. Alright. Well, now they have something good to untap with Kiora, so they have a lot of mana. Let's see how they use it. Yeah.
I love to
Still
look at
building their mana.
splash.
Good for them. Aha, mass manipulation. Sure, they get the dragon and token. Yeah, that's fine. Not that we can do anything about it anyway. Alright, and they ramp it again. Well, ramp because of Kiora, but they already have the Utopia Sprawl, so... Alright, what do we get back? Nissa's definitely the better card there. Well, we don't really hate that great, do we? We can trade the Bonepal and Bow. Well, we are playing mutable, that's for sure. Let's get us a red. Want to play the relic so that we can tap Magda to it. We don't want to be attacking into Bow. And yeah, don't really have anything else going on, so might as well play the stockpile. Stockpile is a mana rock that is also a treasure. So for 3 mana, we can produce the extra treasure we need. Here, let's attack. If Bonepal dies, we are feeling great, getting it back with portal to Phyrexia. Yeah, we drew a mountain, so let's go. And the red will go to waste. Still in combat, let's see if our opponent blocks. They do not, they go to 4. Alright, we play the dwarf. Of course, best dwarf in our deck. Maybe second only to Magda. And we pass the turn. If we had a vehicle, we could tap the Mutavault and the Universal Automaton. That would give us 2 extra treasures, and of course 1 for Magda, so that would be 5. That would be easily a win on the spot. Alas, we don't have a vehicle, so we have to wait for our next turn. Our opponent has the Ox, a dragon. They cannot easily pump it. They have a treasure, but that will definitely not get them to 25 damage.
Let's get moving.
What could they do here? Definitely Sire-Rift our board. That would be devastating. But we have enough mana to just recast Portal to Phyrexia. They get an 8/8. Okay, good for them. They don't have any mana left. Are we capable of winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, we take 14 damage, that's fine. Opponent underestimates our support a little, don't they? Well, we get a lot. That's fine. Well, we get the Mutavault out. And these triggers don't really do anything. He will get them anyway. We move to combat. We attack all. We get 3 extra treasures and a trigger from Bonepal. Opponent scoops. What we would have done if they did not scoop, we would sacrifice the 5 treasures, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we would get Juggernaut. So even if they do block, most of our creatures would be at least 3 powered. Dwarves would be 6 3s, and we would easily overpower our opponent. So GG.